Cause everything is never as it seems, I bought this shirt from my favorite YouTuber and it seems pretty cool, right? You know, it's got expert stitching, a unique design, and not to brag or anything, but it kinda makes me look like a solid 6 out of 10. Well, look at the tag. It's gonna shrink in the washing machine! Man, that's why I'm done talking about YouTube merch for good. If you were to give me the weird option of talking about it ever again or straight up dying, you know what? I think I would rather... In what amounts to a dull news day, MeMelon is missing. When interviewing his friends, this is what they had to say.
Who?
Where is he now? The world may never care. What the? The Beach Party's getting a sequel? Oh, yeah, hey. Yeah, the report of my death was greatly false. Although I may be dead on the inside, I am still very much alive. But I know you have some questions, like, MeMelon, why'd you fake your death? What's in the letter? Where'd you get that shirt you're wearing? Old Navy. Thanks for asking. But in the months of my absence, I've dedicated my entire being to one thing and one thing only. Single-handedly dismantling the most corrupt and greedy business of all, YouTube merch. And also playing Breath of the Wild. That game is long! YouTube merch. A great idea, right? A personally designed piece of fabric that just screams I just wasted 50 bucks. Dang it. The quality of these things ranges from, dear God it burns, to, it's alright. You can't go 3 seconds without some goofy goober trying to advertise to you their plain white t-shirt with a horrible print of their catchphrase. A catchphrase so generic, mind you, you could literally randomly generate a sentence and it would fit in with these perfectly fine. Want to know how I know that's the case? Because that's what I just did. It really all comes down to your motive for selling merch. Are you trying to make a quick buck, or are you trying to make a quicker buck? Because... money, thank you. Wait a minute, I'm home alone. And I only say it's money driven because holy crap, this multi-millionaire's logo of a cloud is literally clip art from the dang internet. I can't do this! But from an outside perspective, it may seem like YouTube merch is just a manipulative tactic used by influencers to squeeze as much money from their fans. But don't misinterpret my downright pessimism towards YouTube merchandise, because it's not all for a profit. There's some legitimately great pieces of merch out there, where you can tell the creator cared about each and every aspect of their merch. Having it be high quality, a low cost, it's not this. The very concept of selling merchandise has had quite the run over its lifetime on YouTube. It used to be a staple of success, finally being big enough to say, look out world, I'm coming in cheap and embroidered. But now you just see everyone in the contents of their fridge out here on the merch train, and I don't blame them. $40, $50, $60? If I'm paying that much, it better come with a signed copy of LEGO Star Wars for the Wii. If we take a gander over at a merch store like Dream, for instance, nothing too offensive at first. Hoodies, beanies, you know, the usual. I kinda dig the minimalism. I could think of at least 2 uses for this thing. Let's just take a look at the price and... let's hope he can break a 20. Now, if there's one thing you gotta be prepared for when it comes to buying YouTube merch, it's to bust out the old piggy bank. Your parents' credit cards. Should I eat tonight or spend 60 bucks on more merch? The answer is pretty simple. Survival's overrated. Why, thanks, Mr. Delivery Man. Now you may be wondering, what type of merch did I get? Or most of all, ew, why? Well, let's just say if mortal eyes ever saw the contents of this bag, they're gonna want a new pair of eyes. What I never understood about the whole I sell you a shirt, you give me mortgage money thingy is the why. Out of all the things to do, why is selling shirts, hoodies, and that the most popular way of selling merchandise? But I think I've cracked it. Hear me out. It's not nearly as deep as I thought. It's easier. Riddle me this. What's something that you wear every single day? If you answered shame for that social mistake you made a few years ago, same. But it's shirts. And it just so happens they're insanely easy and cheap to make and sell, so boom, bam, that'll be 80 bucks plus shipping. Selling merch has never been easier thanks to the rise of foreign online merch stores. Or as I like to call them, sweatshops. These things let you sell all sorts of goodies. They've got shirts, hoodies, totally not super sketchy terms of service. It's amazing! Hostage situations aside, the big boys out there like Dream and PewDiePie have their own private companies that make and distribute their merch. But if you're a peasant like me, these print-on-demand shops are our best bet. And oh boy. First up, we got Spreadshop. Spreadshop's UI activates my fight or flight response, and not In the good way. Everything here feels so blocky and unorganized. I will say, the ability to have different designs on this page is actually pretty cool, but I wouldn't recommend drawing your own art. For some reason, they didn't like my non-trademark smiley face. But for your next, honestly, only other option, we have Teespring. Negotiating with them is frustrating. Teespring! Buddy, I was best man at your wedding! How much would a shirt be with the design on the front? Well, that's gonna be $10. And back. So, as long as your designs are simple, there's a disgusting amount of options for the types of shirts you want to sell. You can even adjust the price and it tells you your exact profit margins. So if you're like me, integrity comes over money making any day. But wow, looking at these prices, I used to think creators got most of the profits from these sales. But if you want your fans to have a good quality shirt, it costs a pretty penny. Where most people would see this somewhat plain looking shirt for 25 bucks, with no context, you might think, holy smokes, this is a crime. But seeing how much it costs to use a high quality shirt, print the design, and ship it to most places in the world, the cut the creator gets isn't nearly as much as you'd think. Man, it almost makes me think, maybe I'm in the wrong for not liking YouTube merch. Nah, but overall, if it's between Spreadshop and Teespring, Teespring takes the less of a scam cake here. The ability to customize the pages, have descriptions, and adjust prices gives it the MeMelon seal of approval. Non-fungible. Now talking about any other merch stores, like ending a conversation with someone, tragically walking away in the same direction, and it not being awkward. It's a total hypothetical, man. Oh, Fanjoy, the country club of merch stores. Think any TikToker or vlogger and they're using Fanjoy. It's really for anyone who doesn't want to spend years designing their products and web pages, and although their merch seems to consist of nothing more than inspirational quotes for millennials, it's a clean interface with just enough customization to feel unique. But say you don't have a bachelor's degree in cheap clothing. Well, Teespring isn't too shabby. It's got a great UI and you can customize just about anything to your exact liking. Nice! So you have the audience to sell to, a usable website, and if God wills it, a somewhat mediocre design. Well, how do you sell the dang things? See, this is my favorite part of the merch process. The marketing. I mean, I did study business on my computer for a few hours, so I kinda know what I'm doing. Okay, so it turns out cops don't like it when you don't have a work permit and attempt to bribe them with counterfeit bills. So I guess we're gonna have to stick with the old ways of selling merch. The manipulation way. But how do you manage to do that, huh? Well, I got these jelly beans right here. Now, why should you buy them? Well, they're actually only available for a limited time, so you might want to get them before it's too late. Well, with that unrelated note out of the way, yeah, I don't know. FOMO. I don't want you now, but maybe in the future? You see this fear of missing out tactic used a lot when it comes to limited quantity merch drops. Subscriber milestones, or straight up screw you, buy it now because I said so. Now, I doubt most creators use this because they're evil supervillains scheming on ways to make money, but because it's an effective tactic. But on the other hand, we have outright offensive ways to sell merch. You saw this a lot in 2017, and it's what I like to call Operation Where's the FTC? People like Rice Gum and Logan Paul would hit you with a 10-minute video with 5 minutes of such being propaganda. It started with mentioning merch in their vids, okay yeah, no biggie, to begging every few minutes, okay calm down now, to making whole music videos strictly about buying merch.
Buy that merch, buy that merch.
We don't talk about him. Although thankfully it's not as frequent as it was, say, a few years ago. Even today, if you watch the right types of videos, you might not only be suckered into buying their merch, but also their products.
These two together complete the James Charles X Morphe sister collection.
I would never buy that. That's right, there's more than just shirts and really cool looking stickers. Anything with the creator's twist can be merchandise. If it's from Mewtwo's, which are cute little figurines of a creator, or shoot, why not a full-on plushie? A YouTuber's merchandise can be just about anything. It's actually really cool how merch has expanded over the last couple years. Going from strictly print-on-demand clothing to the dark ages, but emerging out of there looking better than ever. Kinda. But then there's YouTuber-made products that I don't even know can be classified as merch anymore. Look at Angry Joe, who made a whole Street Fighter board game, or Jacksepticeye, who sells freaking coffee. YouTube gives so many people insane opportunities outside of just shirts and expensive cups. But wait, no, YouTube merch is supposed to be bad. Like my shirt's gonna shrink in the washing machine. Oh man. But inner conflicts aside, what good are the websites and corrupt business practices if you don't have some good-looking merch? See, this is the part where most people slip up on. The design, the art style, the vibe. This not only displays you as a brand, but for you as a person with feelings and a huge bank account after this, trust me. From everything the web tells me, you need to deeply research just about every aspect of your shirt's design. Brainstorm ideas, create a mock-up, it's kinda complicated. But I'm a man of inspiration. Let's see what we can pull from the best-selling type of merch on the market. I know I've been a little harsh on the whole merch scene so far, but come on, this has to be the worst design merch ever! Come with me. See, there's something I've been keeping from you all. If it was from my vague remarks to me straight up telling you my YouTube merchandise agenda, you might have guessed I'm not just here for a walk in the park. Although, it is a really nice day for a walk in the park. See, why I've been laying low for so long wasn't just because I was playing Breath of the Wild. Although that was like 4 months of it. But it all started when I was looking through the mail. Alright, what do we got here? Junk, junk, junk. Oh my goodness! Junk. Oh my goodness, again! An anonymous warning. The letter explained how all YouTube merch is evil and told of a YouTube merch apocalypse. And that the only way to prevent said apocalypse was to destroy the concept of YouTube merch as we know it. This could only be done by finding the most mediocre, laziest, substandard piece of merch out there and destroying it in the holy trash can of YouTube merchandise. Not to be confused with the regular trash can right next to it. The second I saw the prophecy, I knew whose merch it spoke of. A man-child's from the Dark Ages. One I'd hoped I'd never have to lay my eyes on. Jake Paul's 2017 collection. I had to gather my will and do what had to be done. It wasn't easy. Every Jake Paul website and merch store from 2017 is either defunct or offline, with his merch being as rare as diamonds that no one wants. Every Jake Paul shirt for sale nowadays is simply a cheap knockoff, but dude, looking at the originals, it's really hard to tell the difference. But my search led me to eBay, but nothing was for sale. Nothing was for sale. Then, with some digging, I found that an article of Jake Paul merch was sold back in October of 2017 by a seller we'll call Soggy Cheese. Seeing that 4 years ago was the last time he was active, it was a long shot, but this was my final hope. So I sent out a message. Weeks went by with no response. This was our last chance, but with this trail closed, hope would surely be lost. Until a few weeks later, a lead. Soggy Cheese came through. He informed me to contact a seller he said may have the hookup on some Jake Paul merch. I messaged him and got a reply later that day. But it seemed like he was messing with me, but I couldn't wrap my head around why. But nonetheless, we exchanged a few more messages and it looked as if he was legit. He made the listing, and with the fate of the world at stake, I made sure not to try to talk down the price. And then, all we had to do was wait. And that's exactly what I brought here today, to get rid of the most diabolical piece of YouTube merch ever spawned. Well, let's hope my exposition sequence didn't last too long. Damn it! Well, let's open this bad boy up. Oh my god! It's really ugly. Well, time to purge all of YouTube merchandise for all of existence. Man, my conscience is clear. But wait, with everything we talked about, wouldn't that be kinda mean? Well, it is to prevent the apocalypse, so I know what I have to do. Apocalypse-free coffee. And get this, I didn't even put the shirt in the holy trash can of YouTube merch. That's right, YouTube merch is safe. I did the right thing. I feel good about myself. Wait. Oh shit. But the thing is, the apocalypse never even happened. It was like whoever wrote that prophecy just wanted me to hate on YouTube merch. But here's the thing, I like YouTube merch. In fact, I'm comfortable and totally not suffocating my merch that shrunk in the washing machine.